Welcome to Catalyst for Healing. We are so excited for you to join us today. I'm here again with Elizabeth Cappelletti, good friend. She and I work together doing ketamine-assisted psychotherapy in partnership with the clinic.
Yes.
And Elizabeth has been on the podcast before sharing her own experience, and she's back to talk with us about anxiety.
Yes.
She's an integrative and holistic practitioner, therapist, and she has written an anxiety program that she's going to share with us today. And we're just excited to have someone who specializes in anxiety because there's a very different way to treat a client, whether most people have a little of both, let's say, when they come in.
Yeah.
But there's usually a prominence towards one or the other.
Yeah. Being depression that you're talking about.
Yes.
I think. Yeah.
So either people are a little more prominent, like someone like me with depression, or a little more anxious, which I know that's a little more your background. But we know what the other feels like because you get a mix in there.
Yeah.
But
they're besties.
they're besties. However, I think there's a very specific way to treat anxiety that can be really, really effective. And you have some amazing tools with that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
why don't you share a little bit about this program? And
yeah. So I guess going back a little bit, I think on the last podcast too, I talked about how I'm always learning and growing, and anxiety is something that I struggled with in my life. It showed up as an eating disorder, and I got lots of help for that. And as time went on, I started to realize, like, I think I mentioned last time too, it's like anxiety, depression, addiction, and OCD all wrapped up in one lovely package. So as I continued to get help.
Thank you for being vulnerable about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's important. And I want my mess that I went through to be a message to help others.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's
so I had gone, actually before the pandemic hit, I went to this certification course because I'm always about the certifications and learning more. And it was all about anxiety. And I came away from it, and I'm not trying to be all like, but I knew everything that the lady was saying, and then some. I had like more dad. And I told my friend, my colleague, Cheryl, she's my really good friend, and we have our wellness center together. And she's like, you need to do this. You need to create a course. And I'm like, I don't know how to create a course. I don't know what I'm doing. This was pre my journey, by the way, pre my ketamine journeys. Now I've been like, let's do it. So I don't know, like I was excited, but I was scared and I didn't know where to start. And then I prayed about it, and all of a sudden I thought about this person I hadn't talked to in a while. And I'm like, oh, I wonder how she's doing. Unrelated to this. I just, like, one day I was driving and I thought of this person, and I looked her up on her website. Guess what she created? A course on how to make a course. So
awesome.
Like, okay, click, like sign up. And then so I spent all this time creating this course, and this course was focused on everything that I had learned, experienced, gone through myself, that I found to be helpful with treating other people with anxiety and myself. And it's really important for me to know, like, doing all of these trainings that I've done, there are some that I have gone to, like hypnotherapy. The first hypnotherapy one I went to, he said, if you're doing anything else, you're basically stealing people's money and you're taking advantage. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I need to do this right. And then I go to the office and I try and be like, can we just do what we were doing before? And I was like, okay. And I found that to be the case. Like, all these modalities are amazing. Like some of them, well, not all of them are amazing in their own way, but there's no one size fits all for everybody. I think that's really important for everybody to know. Cause like sometimes we go in thinking this is going to be the thing, and it might be, it totally might be, but it also might be some other things, and some things might vibe with you more. Maybe you just need like a mix of stuff. So I really created this whole thing. One, because I'm limited. I have 3 kids right now. They're 13, 9, and 4. They're actually sitting in the room outside, 2 of them.
So we might be hearing from them at some point.
And I can only, right now, my capacity is like 10, 15 clients max a week. If I go over that, my wheels start shaking. Before I had my third, I could do like 20, 24. My wheels start shaking then.
Yeah.
So I wanted
people need to understand that's full time for a therapist, 20 to 24
it's a lot.
to 25.
Yeah.
It's because it is, I mean, it's very taxing on the nervous system. Yeah. And some therapists work 40 hours. I don't know how they do it.
I don't know. Well, then I heard like horror stories sometimes of things that people say, and I shouldn't say horror stories, but like not good. Like the compassion and the empathy is missing. And like I have clients come back to me after years. It's been 5 years, and it's like, how do you remember that? I'm like, because I'm here with you and I'm connected, like that's really important. And I want to tell you, if you're listening and you haven't done therapy, or if you are in therapy, rapport, that connection is like seriously one of the most important things.
Yeah.
So you can't really fake that, right? So for some of you, you might be like, oh, Maria, she's my jam, or Elizabeth, like I'm energized, right? That I connect well with her. And one thing that I've heard people say when they watch my videos, like you're like you see him on the videos. That's great, right? So connection is just so huge, and I think that's important for anything, right? For most things.
I think that's an important point, because people are like, oh, that modality is the one that's going to work for me, and they're so focused on finding a therapist with that modality that they might be missing another therapist that incorporates some of that, but they're a little more flexible in what they incorporate, but they're the right fit for them.
Yes.
And always go with the right fit over a specific modality.
Yes.
I that's just personally my preference.
And the research actually supports that.
Yes.
So what I have done doing all these trainings, and when I say all these trainings, I'm talking like EMDR and brains. Some of these you might not have heard of. Brain spotting, the CBT, the hypnotherapy, the art therapy, and then when I was pregnant with my youngest, I did this whole certification in integrative medicine for mental health. Ooh. So understanding like the foods we eat and the supplements we can take, and like how something like reactive hypoglycemia, which is your blood sugar levels, can actually, people can be misdiagnosed as bipolar, ADHD, all kinds of stuff. I'm trying to think, but there's more that that can be misdiagnosed as that, and when it's a blood sugar level thing.
And you and I are both passionate about the integrative approach.
Yes.
Because, again, we can be so narrow in just treating the depression, the anxiety, but if you don't look at the whole person and you're not treating them holistically from all those different angles, I mean, just talking about nutrition with clients is so critical, because nutrition, exercise, supplements have a huge impact on mood, and there's simple things that people don't want to take responsibility for and work on. I understand, but they're really, really important when it comes to mental health. So
absolutely. And I want to say one thing that I do incorporate in my course too is about medication, because sometimes people come in, whether it's with depression or anxiety, and they feel like so immobilized, and actually getting them to go out and walk or to change their diet and do some of those things feels almost impossible. And I want to be sensitive to that. Okay. I really see medication. It's not like the first thing that I push at all, but I think if somebody feels really stuck, and this is where even like the ketamine comes in,
totally.
Right? When somebody just is like stuck and it's really hard to move, and I look at it as a life raft. So like you're in the middle of the ocean, you barely keeping your head above water, and it is a life raft that will help to keep you afloat, but you still got to swim to shore. You still got to row to shore.
I like that. Yeah.
And that's where some of these therapeutic modalities come in. And so in this program,
so more moderate to severe, like if let's say they're functioning and taking a walk is almost impossible because they can't.
Because some people it is, and
they need a jump start.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. Then the jump start's a really good way to say it too. Yeah. Although sometimes some people are feeling anxious, they don't need a jump start. But
that's true.
But then it like leads into the depression thing that we kind of talked about. So I basically, my aim with this is like I'm not able to right now to be able to see a whole bunch of people at once. And even then it still is limited. I'm one person. So my aim is to be able to help a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So I can record this just like you do, and you can help lots of people through this.
Yeah.
And so it's for somebody who maybe there's lots of different somebodies. So if you haven't started therapy and you're curious to what it is and how it works and what are some of the different like modalities, or modalities meaning like types of therapy, right? Because there's some people are like, I don't want to just sit there and talk.
Yeah.
Right. They want to do something else.
Right.
Or maybe somebody who already is in therapy. Well, going back to the person who hasn't done therapy, maybe they're nervous about it. Maybe they don't know what to expect. And I've had that. You've probably had that too.
Of course.
Or they've been raised to believe like you're weak if you go get help, or you don't go talk to somebody else about your problems. And so just overcoming some of that and understanding that. Mm-hmm. Another person who this could be good for is if you are in therapy now, but you're maybe you're a little stuck and you need something a little bit different, and you've heard about some of these things, but you're not sure exactly how they work. And I get it. You could Google, you could chat GPT. I love chat GPT.
I know. It's amazing.
Of an angel sage. She's awesome. But being able to hear from a clinician who I've been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah.
So I talk about a lot of the things that I have seen that have been very beneficial. I also talk about there's technologies that are out there now, Cereset being one of them. There's some other ones too that people can use that will really, and I've tried these things. Okay. And it's so funny because I'm working on it to help my clients, working on it to help my family members who are going through it. Some of them didn't even be willing to try some of this stuff. But I'm like, I'm feeling so much better. Like, this is amazing. So I got to benefit from them. So I talk about.
Did you do Cereset?
I did, yes, and I still do it. I do it.
How is it?
It's awesome.
Actually, I've heard really good things.
Yeah, it's let's just say I didn't realize how ADHD my brain was until I did Cereset, and I was like, why is time going by slower? And like just doing something like a pile that I saw over there to take care of that seemed overwhelming. I'm like, oh, I can get that done real quickly. And I actually would get it done really quickly. So,
wow. And
then I also saw some things with anxiety change and also my interactions and dances with my husband, because we all have dances that we do with our partners.
Yes.
I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that stuff. And it was just like a shift. So, and I feel like it also helped to open me up spiritually as well. Like it just kind of unlocked something. So, but just talking about these different modalities, including the medication, including the supplements, it's a lot, guys. It's like 10 hours. You don't have to, it's not just a 10-hour block. Like there's sections. Yeah. There's sections that you can just click on and go to. And the best thing is, after I created it, there was another thing that happened. I'm like, what do I do with it now? Like, how am I supposed to let people know that I made this thing? I'm like, do I have to do social media? Oh, because before this, I looked like I didn't even exist on social media. And, because it caused anxiety for me. Yeah. Like, and some sadness and depression, because I would just compare myself. I'm like, look at their vacation. They look all happy. I go on vacation and my kid's like throwing a fit and whining and complaining. I'm like, I think there's people take snapshots of the best moments. Oh yes, they do. And I talk about this in therapy with clients too. So, but then get this. So I'm thinking about this. Actually, both of the times I was on my way to Cereset. Funny to mention it. I was on my way to Cereset when I thought about how do I do a course, and then I came out, and then I just So a year later, guys, I took a year to make this thing, and I had a baby at the same time. I don't know how I made time, but I felt this burning passion to do it. I'm driving on my way to Cereset, and I was like, well, now what? What do I do? I don't know about the social media thing. I get out of Cereset. I prayed about it. I get out of Cereset, and in my inbox is a thing from Pessy, who they do courses for therapists. Yeah. How to position yourself as a therapist on social media. Wow. You have to be kidding me. Okay. I see the path. Yeah. Okay. Click. And it was free. Come on. Yeah. So I signed up for that, and I was absolutely terrified and mortified the first video I did. If you go back and see, I have filter almost 100%. Perfect, flawless skin. And I was nervous. You could see a little bit of me, but it wasn't the full me, because I was terrified. I don't know what I was terrified of. I think the anxiety was people are going to say something bad about me, and that's it. Nobody's going to watch. I don't know. It was whatever. Ketamine has helped me with that. So now I'm my hair is falling out of my bun over here, whatever. It's fine. That's what it is. It's raw. So I started putting stuff out, and then oddly enough, I started doing all these postings, and that was really helpful for me. And I actually only talked about my course one time in a year about it, because I was nervous about advertising about it. Wow. But I have to say,
none of us are great at marketing. Yeah, I'm
really great at marketing other people.
Oh,
I'm working on. Okay.
I don't know very many therapists that love to promote themselves.
Yes, I've started to. Listen to my book. Okay, one of my last ketamine journeys helped me with that.
Tell me. Okay.
So it's when my creativity was unleashed, and it just was this feeling and worry about not being worthy or good enough. Yes, right. I struggled with that. It just
it went away.
Yeah. You guys, my whole life.
That's awesome. Yeah. That is awesome.
So, and then you could see there's some videos I don't have any makeup on. I have the filter. I'm oh, whatever. Drastic change. Yeah. Drastic.
You were just,
and you can judge me.
Be yourself.
Yeah.
And show up.
Yeah. You can judge me, because if you're judging me, you got something you got to work on. Really.
That's so
We all have
true.
stuff. We all have stuff. Like, I'm not perfect. I'm not sitting here saying I am.
Right.
So the point is, coming back to the course, I was at church and I was like, oh, by the way, this whole thing with the course also is I wanted to make passive income. I was hoping like passive income. So people will buy this. I've got kids, like I can make income this way. So everybody's talking about this, right? So after I made the course, I'm at church and it's before the music started. And I like all of a sudden just feel, I like sense and hear this like in a knowing thing of like, give it away for free. And I'm like, what? Give it away for free. I'm like, no, what? Give it away. I worked on this for like a year. What are you talking about? Give it away for free. I might sound cray to those of you who like on this, spiritual realm or maybe aren't where I am, but like it's kind of like a thought or a sense or somebody will say something to me. And so I'm like, I don't know, God. Then the whole message was all about giving and all about receiving. It's like, okay, message clear. So then I went and that's why I like, it's for free. And nobody even came to my course to get it. I did that. But I did receive a message from somebody shortly after that. And it was this young college student. And he said, I don't know if you get messages like this from people, but I just wanted you to know like how much your videos and stuff has really helped me. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Is this a joke? Like, what is happening? This is like, so this That's young man had an injury. He had a sports injury and he got healed and worked on it. But then he was having problems like performing in his sport. And like they told him like, I think you need to go see a therapist. Like, I think this is psychological at this point. And he felt really lost. So he started searching and he found my YouTube videos because everything's on YouTube. Yeah. And he just started watching one after another. And he's like, oh my gosh, this literally, you helped me so much through this. And I don't know that you get messages from people, guys like me very often, but I just want you to know, like you helped to really shift things for me and change my life. And I was crying. So if you're out there and you see this, it meant the world to me.
That's sweet.
And so right now I have it listed for a small fee on my thing, but I want to give it to you guys for free. So if you put the link there, it's the code, if you put that there too, is pay it forward, all caps. So pay it forward, meaning you could share it with others or also do something kind for somebody else, because that also will help you on your healing journey. It's very important because when we sometimes are struggling with depression or anxiety, we're so stuck in our own world and our own pain and the struggles. And when we can shift the perspective to somebody else, like it can help us on our healing journey.
Totally.
I just talked your ear off. So
yeah,
your turn.
Okay. So why would someone want to get this for free? Tell them a little bit about what are some of the things that you are going to be providing. If you think of the most important things in the course.
Hope and insight. And you can like, even once you go on there and you go through, you're like, what is this EMDR thing? I want to see what that is and how it works. What can I expect? Hypnotherapy. What is that? Like, how can I expect this? And I also give like tools and techniques that like tapping and different things that you can do to help yourself. Like you can walk away from this and have ideas of like, oh, here are some supplements that I can take from somebody who knows what she's talking about, not just some like random person on social media who like is 19 years old and isn't not thinking some of them may know their stuff, but 20 years,
specific
guys,
to mental health.
Yes,
too,
specific to mental health. I'm a therapist. I practice this. This is what I'm doing. And I thought to myself, like, too, this is like sitting with me kind of in a way, not exactly, but for like 10 hours. Yeah. That would be not very cheap. So yeah.
Good point.
So
what has helped you the most? I mean, you have some like, let's just talk about eating disorders for a minute, because that's very, very difficult to treat. So like, what helped you the most to recover from that? Let's say.
Well, I started struggling with this when I was about 14 years old. I started really obsessing about the food intake and all of that stuff too. So I had like a mix of bulimorexia. Super fun. A little bit of both.
I haven't heard that. It's a good term. Yeah, because sometimes they go into one of the, you know, like
I weaved
back and forth.
So the motivation was really important for me. So it wasn't until after I got my master's degree and I had my first job being a therapist that I like tanked. I tanked.
So from 14 to 20.
It was on and off, like to 26. It was, and there'd be times where it was worse than others. Yeah. And
did anyone notice?
Well, so when I was in grad school, it was like my last semester there. I lost 20 pounds in 2 weeks. So people started noticing. Some people would say, "Oh, you look so good." And then there was a couple people like, "Are you okay? Like, what's going on?" I'm like, "I'm fine. Oh, yeah, I'm good." And I think I really believed that to some degree too, but it's hard when people are complimenting you too. That's tough. So, but my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, it wasn't just about the eating. It was everything else. It was control. It was fighting with him. It was like, some of it was warranted, guys. Like, he put me through the ringer. But I love you. But he did. And so, but it would make me just feel so unstable. And then I'd get all stressed and I, feel sick to my stomach. And then I'd start obsessing. The OCD part was like obsessing about what I was eating and how much I was eating. And it like literally took over. And so part of it too, when I got that job, I was working with the highest level of care before residential treatment with kids and teens. So it was really, really gnarly.
Yeah.
So I just told you my caseload now, right? And that's like, 15 or whatever, even with 3 kids, where the max we had was 7 because it was so intense what we were dealing with. And I just wanted to rescue all of them. And like every case had abuse. It was gnarly. It was really challenging. And I thought it was my job to fix everybody. So I checked myself.
Well, I always say like we get the hardest stuff when we get the least trained.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Deep end. There's some sharks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my husband, who's my boyfriend at the time, was like, "You need to get help or like it's not going to work." And I was like, so part of what led me there, not that I'm saying for people to say that, but it was like, maybe he didn't say those exact words, but it was affecting our relationship too. Yeah. So I tried to go into an inpatient, but they were like, I think I was like a week away from probably needing to qualify. I needed to lose 5 more pounds. Jeez. And so I signed up for an intensive outpatient program. Okay. And my husband was my support system. So once I told my therapist there, like what was going on with my family and stuff, like they were like, "I think it's best that you don't bring them for the family therapy part and you bring your partner." And so he came with me and it was a process. And there was a lot of things we did. We did yoga, we did eating together, we did mindfulness, we did, there's the cognitive behavioral therapy, like they incorporated a lot of different things. Yeah. Right. And through my training, there was something called narrative therapy that I really was drawn to. And I named the eating disorder Mr. Ed. So I may one day come up with a book. I have the picture, the painting that I did. We'll see. No, I really feel I will at one point do that when I don't have my hands in 18 million things. But just being able to externalize it, that I am not the eating disorder. It's something I was challenged with, and kind of the lies that it would say to me, he would say to me, and I could feel it when he was like trying to knock down the door, and and it's been a work that I've been working on for a long time, right? And so there was ways that I healed where I stopped doing those behaviors around that time. But there were still other ways that it still kind of had its teeth sunk into me. And that would be like with the perfectionism and anxiety. Yeah. And still, even to this day, sometimes, and I'll check myself, is especially when I'm under a lot of stress and I'm kind of just go. It's been better, way better since I've done the ketamine. But I would just look in the mirror and I would really start obsessing about my body and think that I had gained weight. And it would take me like a day where I'm like, wait a second, go do my art heart. I do my art heart on the course, by the way. I give that example because it's something that's really helped me. Yeah. And it's just about getting connected with my emotions. And when I do that, and then I like journal and I pray, I'm like, oh, I just unloaded the 10 pounds that I thought I gained. Awesome. It's amazing. But the ketamine has really helped me, like letting go of that perfectionism and that the struggle with the self-worth. Actually, the first ketamine session that I did, like it was so powerful. Just even the first few minutes of it, I remember bawling, and just the healing and the transformation that happened about my worthiness, because there was so much tied to like, if I look a certain way, then I am worthy enough and I'm good enough. And if I perform enough and I have enough certifications and if I do enough and I'm, it has to be perfect. And now I'm like, done beats perfect. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah.
That's freedom.
Yeah.
I mean,
and the beautiful thing is never perfect. So,
and that's actually a lot of what patients take away from the ketamine, is that feeling of somehow like the medicine gives you that loving experience of being able to reparent
Yeah.
how you see yourself, because I mean, how would you describe that? Because like to be able to feel worthy just for who you are, like that's really hard to get to in talk therapy.
Yeah.
You can talk about it, but you can't feel it. But there's something about the medicine that allows for that transformation of like feeling worthy,
The only
shifting.
way I can
I don't
say it
know.
is connection to source. So
Oh, I like that. Okay.
like really truly feeling that. And
Yeah.
I know I said it last time, but it's like this love that I felt for me,
Yeah.
about me. Like I'm enough and I'm loved and I'm seen, and going back through and seeing all the, like, it's this trip. Like I feel like I saw all these guideposts or signs that were there for me along the way, but I didn't know what they meant. And I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, it was right there. Oh my gosh. And it's hard when you walk through difficult things. You know, it's hard. I mean, I know a lot of people out there might struggle with their spirituality and believing in something higher or bigger than them, especially when you're walking through something so challenging. You know, when you've been hurt, or you're going through an illness, or you lose somebody, or somebody you love is going through something. It's like, how can there be somebody up there, or something up there? But it's just as beyond words. Like I almost feel like there's no words to even put to it other than the connection to source. And I think a lot of people come away from this also thinking about just the connection to each other.
Yes.
Right. And then seeing the pain and suffering that others are carrying, and how a lot of times when they hurt us, it's not even about us.
Yeah.
It's about
changing
them.
perspective.
And so like, that's powerful. That's really powerful. So, you know, if my parents weren't able to give me what I needed, it actually wasn't even about me. It wasn't about me not being good enough or not being worthy enough. And in fact, they might not even, they'd be like, what are you talking about? Right.
Yeah.
You're so good at everything you do. Oh, thanks for that dismissive comment. That's awesome. That makes me feel really proud of whatever. But they're struggling with their stuff that they never dealt with. Right. And so, and I know it might seem so simple to say that, or be like, but you don't understand what I've been through. And I haven't had a walk in the park either. It hasn't been easy. And what led me, well, I was curious about the ketamine, but I had a lot of trauma, like really bad trauma that like was surfacing, like repressed memories that were coming up. And, you know, I know some of the ones that I had known about were bad, but these ones were really bad in addition. And it just helped to unstick me from those things. And it helped me to recognize my worth and my value. Yeah. And also why I was
each
always,
of those traumas probably shifted how you saw yourself.
It totally did.
Yeah.
And then like feeling like it's this weird thing, like when you are objectified as a child or as a young adult or at any point in our life, and then feeling like this weird thing of like, well, now I have to present myself in this way and be pretty enough and be sexy enough in order to be loved and valued.
Yeah.
What the heck? Like, so I can have more of that attention. Like it's just,
well, that's what you learned.
Yeah. And I'm only good enough if I'm pretty, and if I'm like, you know, and what happens when the wrinkles start coming and the, you know, that just whatever. It's like, I'm going to embrace that and love my body for who I am and the way that it's been able to help me and nurture me and hold 3 babies and, you know, whatever it may be. So, did I answer your question?
Yeah. I can't remember where we started, but I was just love our conversations. Yeah. Okay. So I liked that. I think it's helpful to share a little bit about the eating disorders because that's one that is tricky, but I do think the ketamine can be very beneficial for those clients because of that, the self-love piece.
Yeah, because that's missing. I mean, the amount of like
self-hatred is so massive.
Oh man, I heard disorders. Sorry, I'm gonna rat you out real quick here, but I heard my husband the other day, like he was playing piano with my daughter and she was like getting mad at him. He's like, you're the one who didn't practice, get mad at yourself. And I was like, oh, I still have to talk to him about that. Like, I don't want her to be mad at herself. I want her to work on things, but I'm tender to it because I walked through that. Like I hated myself. Like I hated what I saw when I looked in the mirror. I didn't feel like I was enough. Like self-hatred is just like such a perfect word for it. And like, to carry that. And so it's been a journey for sure. Yeah. And a lot of trying to prove my worth, but now I don't feel like I have to do that. Like, it's so funny now because even something where it's like, oh, how does this thing that I made look? Like, I like it. Cool. Here we go. like, I mean, that's a big deal versus like, "Hey, what do you think of this? What do
Yeah.
you think of that?" And then some people might look and be like, why do you need like approval for this? Like, this is amazing. And I'm like,
Right.
because I didn't feel that about myself, right?
Right. Because when you don't feel it about yourself, you're looking around for a validation from
Yeah.
everyone else, and you're never going to get
No.
the validation
And then
that you want.
and my dad, like, literally just sometimes, well, like, I made this cool, awesome design for my wallpaper in my bathroom. And I'm like, so, look, Dad, I'm like, oh, I designed it myself. And walks away, doesn't say anything.
Mhm.
Inside, I was like, oh, right?
Right.
Like, what the hell? I just redid mine. You didn't say anything. And it just happened to my friend, too. She just went through that, too. Like, just not saying anything.
Yeah.
You know, you ask somebody, oh, look, I made this. No response. When I made my course, my stepdad, too. No response.
Yeah.
Oh, he did have a response. His response was, your credentials at the end of your name need to be smaller than your name. I'm like, mofo, I'm going to make them bigger. Watch me. But I'm like, now I'm like, I don't need
But you're not even looking for it anymore because you know internally you can validate yourself. And that's where everyone wants to get to because it's freedom. I mean, it's just freedom from other people's opinions and operating on that, constantly looking for validation.
And if I slip backwards, I'm going to do another session. Get a reminder. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. I just love how you openly share kind of your experiences because I think it's so helpful to people. And again, it gives everyone hope, is just what we started with. So if we're going to wrap up, unless there's anything else you want to bring in. Okay. But we are going to put in the show notes the link so you can get her free anxiety course and get inspired by Elizabeth and learn all the things that she's learned because she has a wealth of knowledge in so many areas, but specifically this because you've lived it. And
I am creating other things too. So when you go to my website at overcomewithelizabeth.com, you can subscribe. So this whole thing, I created my whole website, by the way. And I'm very proud of it. Good. But I'm doing other things too and other courses just to like help you on your journey, to help with it, whether it's like eating and exercise and just different stuff too, and just like having support and accountability with that. So I'm in the process of that right now. But and those we will pay. I will be charging for those, but it's not crazy expensive or anything. I want to make it available to you guys.
So if you subscribe, then you'll
find out information, and then
you'll get the notifications when she does new things,
breathwork and just anything that I do. I would love to share that information with you. So, and I'm so honored that you had me on here again.
Thank you. I know. Thank you so much. So anyway, that's it with Elizabeth for today, but we probably will have you back at some point because you're so fun to just talk to and listen to. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for doing this work.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you next week at Catalyst for Healing. Bye.